A few years ago, I was at a Toronto Blue Jays baseball game with my wife and kids, and my kids were just at the age, they were around 8 and 4, where they said, you know, at a restroom break, Dad, we're okay, you don't have to wait for us, because I'm the dad who's like, okay, I'm gonna wait for you right here and everything, and they're like, no, you just, finish your business and go out, and we'll meet you there. So I leave the kids in the restroom, I head out, I'm waiting at the Rogers Center, capacity 50,000, full baseball game. And I'm waiting and no kids. And suddenly I get that sinking feeling in my stomach. And I'm like, oh no, don't tell me. So I go back into the restroom. They're not there anymore. And I start looking around in a panic, trying to find my kids. And I'm like, oh no, what do I do? And then I realize, almost as bad as, now I have to go tell my wife I lost my kids. So I head back down to find her. She's coming up because we're not coming back. And I'm like, honey, I lost the kids. Like, I don't know where they are. And we're panicked. So we start talking to security. They call over the police. And we're like, I had my kids. I don't know where they went. And just as we're explaining to the police officer what happened, I feel a little tug on my pant leg. And it's my kids going, Dad, where were you? And so we tried to figure it out. And I guess there was someone else dressed the same way I was. And they just kind of followed him back to his seat. And thankfully, we were reunited. But you know that feeling where you're like, man, I just almost lost the most precious thing in this world to me? And kids are like that. Like if you have a family of 4 and one of them is missing, it's not like you're sitting there at dinner and you're doing math going, oh, you know what, 75%, 3 out of 4, good enough, let's eat. No, if you're missing one kid, I don't care how many you have, you are going to stop dinner, you're going to do a search party, and you are going to search until you find them. I mean, math is no consolation. You're not like, oh, 75% good enough, or we can have another kid. You see, the powerful thing is, when it comes to people, that's exactly what God did for you in Jesus. In Luke chapter 15, not exactly a Christmas text, Jesus tells 3 stories to get the point across. He talks about a lost sheep, talks about a lost coin, then he talks about a lost son. And he says, we are not stopping until we find everyone who is lost. In fact, we'll jeopardize 99 to find the one. And what does that tell us? It tells us a few things. Number 1, that what was lost has great value. Number 2, that what was lost is unique. And number 3, as a result of its uniqueness, it's irreplaceable. And really, that is the message, that's the thrust of Christmas. It's like that Jesus came for you, and that you are that unique, and that heaven isn't the same without you, and that Jesus came for you. So the question I have for you as Christmas approaches is, do you see yourself that way? Do you see the value that God sees in you? Because when you see the world how God sees you, you start to act like God acts, which leads me to my final question. It's not just do you see yourself that way. Do you see others the way God sees others? So when you gather this Christmas, see people the way God sees people. And you'll start to act like God acts. You are irreplaceable.